After getting the platinum in every PS3 generation Dragon Ball game, we're finally back in the current gen with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. With no multiplayer, this game's main appeal is how it tells the complete Dragon Ball Z story, and it does a damn good job at it. It goes into so much detail, even including some of the best filler episodes. There is 7 DLC packs that add to the game, but unfortunately, none of them have any trophies, so today, we'll only be going through the base game. Our journey begins with Goku meditating in a forest and conjuring up an image of Piccolo to fight against. This is the first fight of the game and serves as a tutorial of sorts. It's simple enough, and when I win, I get the first trophy for beating Piccolo. I have to collect some apples, then accompany Gohan to the water to do some fishing. I lose Gohan and have to spend a few minutes finding him, but then I get to fishing and cook this giant fish. I fly back to Goku's house and inside find an item on the floor. Picking this up unlocks the Z Encyclopedia and I get a trophy for unlocking my first entry in it. At the Kami house, we get introduced to side missions called sub-stories. I have to do this one to continue. I find Roshi's photo collection, give it back to him, and get a trophy for completing my first sub-story. My next mission is to check out the training grounds. This is used to learn new super attacks by spending D medals, which Krillin gives me one to use here. I finish this fight and learn consecutive energy blasts, and I get a trophy for learning a new super attack. Continuing the story officially starts the Saiyan saga with Raditz invading Earth. I play as Piccolo and fly to a fight with him, to then fight him again with Goku at the Kami house. The fight ends abruptly since I'm supposed to lose, and Raditz kidnaps Gohan. I team up with Piccolo and head to Luca village to save Gohan. I also have Piccolo as a support character, meaning he can assist me during battle. When my support gauge is full, I can do a Z combo, which does massive damage. I eventually beat Raditz and switch to Gohan's training with Piccolo. Before I can check up on Gohan, I have to beat 3 groups of enemies. He seems to be hungry, so I'll collect some apples for him as it becomes nighttime. It's too bad there's a full moon out and Gohan looks at it, turning him into a great ape. Now I have to fight him. Luckily, he isn't too bad, even though he's over double my level. Piccolo cuts off Gohan's tail, and now I play as Gohan hunting deer for a bit. Then I jump back to Piccolo and have to fight Tien, Krillin, and Yamcha. I'm back as Gohan, and I'll be sticking with him for the next few fights. First is against Piccolo, then on the way to Goku's house, I find my first villainous enemy. They're stronger than normal enemies, and beating them gets me a trophy for defeating my first villainous party. I fight Piccolo again before Vegeta and Nappa finally land on Earth. I fight through a few Cybermen, then Nappa takes his turn. During this fight, I have Krillin and Tien as assists. Using them 10 times gets me a trophy for using 10 super attack assists. I was so close to beating Nappa, but an attack came out of nowhere and knocked me out. I actually beat him this time, for Piccolo to then sacrifice himself to save Gohan. Goku's back to life and on his way to fight Nappa. I beat him a lot easier than when I was Gohan, and lead Vegeta to the wasteland for the boss fight of the saga. Every end boss fight in a saga has an animation I can trigger, and these are so cinematic. I'll point them out when they happen because they're just so cool. Even though I'm only 3 levels lower than Vegeta, this is the toughest fight so far. I lost a few times, and when I finally beat him, I was a hit away from losing. That was just phase 1 though. We still have to deal with him as a great ape. Surprisingly, he's so much easier to deal with in this form. To be fair, he does start at only a 1/6 of the health he had before, so I was able to win first try. There's still one more fight where I play as Gohan against Vegeta. Here he has even less health, so he's a pushover. I beat him easily and get the trophy for completing the Saiyan saga. Between the main sagas are intermissions. These are where I'm open to go anywhere I've unlocked and do side missions. For the first intermission though, there are some things I have to do. Chi-Chi asked me to get a recipe from a nearby village. This is a full course meal recipe, and Chi-Chi is the only character in the main game who can make these. I need 3 separate dishes made to make a full course meal, but for this first one, Chi-Chi will already have them made for me. Making this gets me a trophy for making my first full course meal. Now I head to the Kami house and Master Roshi tells me to go find Launch in West City. I find her harassing 2 civilians, and when I stop her, she sends robots after me. I don't know why, but these guys were tough. Maybe because they're 4 levels above me. I lost 3 times before I barely scraped by. I send Launch back to the Kami house, and before I go there too, I'm buying some healing items. I also open the Z Encyclopedia and get D medals for all the entries I've been unlocking. This gets me a trophy for collecting 10 D medals. I tell Roshi about launch, and now I'll end this intermission and move on to the Frieza saga. Before I can go to Namek, I need to collect some items for Bulma to build the spaceship. I get to Namek and get jumped by some Frieza soldiers, then switch to Vegeta. When I do, more entries in the Z Encyclopedia get updated, and I get a trophy for unlocking 200 entries. I fight a quick battle against Q, then see Goku is on his way to Namek. It'll be a bit before he lands though, and I need to survive against the Frieza Force in the meantime. I fight Dodoria until the battle ends prematurely because Vegeta's coming in to finish the job. While I'm at it, I'll take on Zarbon too. He transforms, and he is stronger, but lucky for us, so are we. The Ginyu Force make their debut on Namek, so the gang decides to make a wish to make Vegeta immortal to deal with them. Too bad the Ginyu Force finds them first and stops us. A fight against Godo happens first, and my god, my Gohan is so low level. I took 50,000 damage from a single hit. I managed to beat Godo on my second try, then have a much easier time against Recoome with Vegeta. Even though I won the fight, Recoome came out on top. Before he can finish us off though, Goku's ship lands on Namek and he comes to the rescue. I beat Recoome again, then Birdo and Jace want a piece of me. Them both double teaming me is giving me no chance to focus on only one of them. Without all these healing items, I'd be struggling a lot more in this fight. Birdo is down, but Jace manages to escape. I chase after him and get into another 2-enemy fight with Ginyu and Jace. At least this time, I have Vegeta here to help me as an assist. Or I did, until he ditches me. With the help of items, I'm able to win just for Ginyu to steal my body for himself. I now fight Ginyu in Goku's body, and a fun Easter egg I noticed is when I fought Ginyu before, he was level 28. Here, he's level 23. That could just be to scale closer to my level, but I see it as a nod to how Ginyu isn't able to use Goku's full power in his body. Goku gets his body back, and the gang use the Dragon Balls to wish Piccolo back to life. Before he shows up though, I have to fight against Frieza second form. When Piccolo shows up, I have to do it again, and even though there's 3 people who can assist me, he says he fights alone. So thanks for making this fight harder for me, Piccolo. Frieza transforms again, but thankfully I have Gohan as an assist this time. I beat him again, then Frieza transforms into his final form. Another cool Easter egg is if I go first person, then I can see the power levels of characters. I see Piccolo, Gohan, and Krillin's levels, and they're not too big. Then I back up to look at Frieza's power level, and oh my god, no wonder the Z fighters were crapping their pants. I start the fight against Frieza, but it ends as soon as it starts because Vegeta realizes he can't win. Frieza starts beating on Vegeta, and all anyone can do is watch. Until Goku shows up to the battlefield. Frieza is surprisingly easy to beat this first fight. Now Frieza explodes Krillin and Goku becomes a Super Saiyan, thrusting me into another fight. Being a Super Saiyan is such a power boost. I'm doing so much damage to Frieza, like he barely did any damage to me. Frieza blows up Namek and powers up to 100%. Since Namek is going to blow up in 5 minutes, Dende makes a wish to send everyone to Earth except for Goku and Frieza. Now I have one final fight against full power Frieza. We have another animation I can do, which mimics a moment from the anime, even if it is a bit censored. Besides having to use one healing item, even if I didn't actually need it, this fight wasn't too bad. Way easier compared to the Vegeta fight in the Saiyan saga. After Frieza is beaten and a bunch of cutscenes play out, I get the trophy for completing the Frieza saga. We're back in another intermission and get introduced to the Dragon Ball system. I can collect the Dragon Balls by finding them in different locations on the world map. Sometimes when I fly by and collect an item, King Kai will send me a telepathic message relating to it. This happens while I'm looking for the Dragon Balls, and I get a trophy for it happening for the first time. I collect the last Dragon Ball and make a wish from the pause menu. I can wish back to life any past enemies for a new side mission, but I'll normally always do money or items. Summoning Shenron gets me a trophy for summoning him for the first time. After using the Dragon Balls, they become inactive for the next 20 minutes. I spend the rest of the intermission doing side missions and collecting the Dragon Balls again when they become available. Continuing the story starts the Cell Saga. Frieza survived his battle with Goku and is on Earth with his father, King Cold. A mysterious youth is here waiting for Frieza, and we fight as him. Frieza stands no chance and gets slaughtered along with his father. Goku lands back on Earth and has a quick fight with the mysterious youth. After the fight, we find out his name is Trunks, and he's Vegeta and Bulma's son from 20 years in the future. he's here to warn us of an android threat coming in 3 years. In the meantime, the Dragon Balls are back, so I'll collect them again. While flying, if I go through an enemy who's at least 5 levels lower than me, then I'll get an instant victory while getting any XP I would have got from fighting normally. I can sense an enemy's power level to see what level they are. I fly through them and get a trophy for getting an instant victory for the first time. I'm also taking some time to learn some more super attacks at the training grounds. As I'm doing this, I get another trophy for learning 50 super attacks. Now I'll continue with the story by going back to Goku's house. After getting yelled at by Chi-Chi, Kami calls me to the lookout. Leaving here, Yajirobe asks me to collect some ingredients to make senzu beans. Doing this lets me collect them whenever they're fully grown. Senzu beans give me full health when used, so they'll be useful when fighting tougher enemies. I meet up with Piccolo and Gohan to do some training, then switch to Vegeta to gather items for the training room. Bulma sets up a cheeky simulation fight against Saiyan Saga Vegeta, and I go through one of the best filler episode plots. Goku and Piccolo go to get their driver's license. It's a race between them, and I only wish they were wearing their outfits from that episode too. The Dragon Balls are back again, so I'll go collect them. While doing this, I unlock more entries in the Z Encyclopedia and get a trophy for unlocking 400 entries. I also find a spot where enemies who are 6 levels lower than me endlessly spawn, so I'll farm instant victories here until I get the trophy for getting 50 instant victories. I collect the last Dragon Ball and make another wish. This ended up being my 5th time doing this, and I get another trophy for summoning Shenron 5 times. I have to do a quick fight with Tien as a condition for him to go on a date with Launch, and then it's time to confront the androids. My fight with Android 19 is cut short due to Goku's heart virus, so Vegeta switches in. This fight is unique since Android 19 can absorb my key attacks and basically get back to full health. I had to use only melee attacks to win. Android 20 is the same deal, except he can also hop on my back and take my health for himself, making this fight last longer than it should. Android 20 escapes to his lab, and I go after him. He gets destroyed, but not before he wakes up the other androids. We chase after the newly awoken androids and have a fight against Android 18. I beat her, then watch Android 17 one-shot the whole squad. We need Goku, but he's still not at full health yet. In West City, I find the same kind of time machine Trunks used, and a shell that something hatched out of. Whatever it is, makes Piccolo accept that he needs to fuse with Kami for a power boost. That something that hatched out of the shell was this absolute monster known as Cell. I fight him and he uses Solar Flare to escape. To get stronger for the androids, Vegeta and Trunks head into the hyperbolic time chamber to train. I have one fight in here, then a fight against Android 17 as Piccolo. Cell shows up to absorb 17 after the fight, and instead of getting away like everyone says, he decides to stay and fight. I wonder how that's going to turn out. So Android 17 gets absorbed by Cell, and Goku shows up to fight and save Tien and Piccolo. Now it's Goku and Gohan's turn in the time chamber while Vegeta goes to deal with Cell. I beat him easily because Big Bang Attack does insane damage, and let him absorb 18 to become perfect for a better challenge. It turns out he's too strong, and instead of finishing us off, Cell decides to host the Cell Games in 10 days. I have one more fight in the time chamber, then I have a few things to do before the Cell Games start. Dende is appointed the Guardian of Earth, so I need to collect the Dragon Balls again. After I collect them, I learn some new super attacks from the skill tree, and get a trophy for learning 100 super attacks. Now I head to the Cell Games and jump into a fight against Cell with Goku. I beat him, then tag out for Gohan. Beating him again makes him spawn some Cell Juniors that attack the other Z Fighters. I have Vegeta and Trunks as assists, and when the support gauge fills up, I do a Z combo. This gets me a trophy for using 10 Z combos in total. Cell ends Android 16, causing Gohan to snap and transform into Super Saiyan 2. We got another amazing animation since this is the final fight of the saga. Just kidding. Cell goes to blow himself up, which Goku sacrifices himself to stop, but Cell comes back, and now this is the final fight of the saga. Not much is different, although I did have to use a few more healing items. I finish off Cell with the Father-Son Kamehameha, and after a few cutscenes, I get the trophy for completing the Cell saga. I'm in another intermission, and first I'll collect the Dragon Balls again. I make a wish, and fast travel to the Kami house when Bulma calls me telling me they're back. It's been less than a minute. They shouldn't be back yet, but I guess the game glitched, so I'm going to collect them again. I make another wish, and fast travel to the Kami house again when Bulma calls me again. I'm going to abuse this for a bit to stack up on Zenny. While searching for the Dragon Balls, I find a D medal and get a trophy for collecting 100 D medals. The game must have known I was abusing this glitch because now I actually get glitched inside a mountain and find Chi-Chi of all people. It also says I'm in Goku's house. I managed to escape, but because the game thinks I'm in Goku's house, I can't access the map or interact with anything, so I need to load my autosave. I guess the game is still glitched, since when I load back in, Bulma tells me the Dragon Balls are back, even though I already have 6 of them. I think after this, I'll just restart the entire game. This last wish I make happens to be my 10th wish, and I get a trophy for summoning Shenron 10 times. Back at the Kami house, I'm going to talk to Master Roshi. He has challenges that were automatically activated early in the game for doing normal gameplay things, like collecting items or taking steps. Because I'm past the Cell Saga, I have so many challenges that I can talk to him to complete. Talking to him gets me the trophy for completing at least 1 challenge. I talk to him again and get the trophy for completing 20 challenges. Talking to him one more time gets me the trophy for completing 50 challenges. Now I'm good to start the Buu Saga. Gohan asked Bulma to make him a suit so he can stop crime anonymously, but Videl figures out who he is easily and blackmails him to train her. So Gohan goes to Bulma for advice when we find out Goku is coming back to Earth for 1 day for the tournament. To prepare for it, Goten wants Gohan to train him, so after a bit, we have our first fight. After this, I head to the tournament, but unfortunately don't get to do anything here because the Supreme Kai drags us away to stop the awakening of Majin Buu. Inside Babidi's ship are 3 floors with an enemy on each. Vegeta fights Pui Pui, Goku fights Yakon, and Gohan fights Dabura. With all enemies defeated, there's no one left to fight, until Babidi corrupts Vegeta and turns him into Majin Vegeta, causing a fight to happen. The energy from their fight was enough to revive Majin Buu, which Gohan now has to deal with. I am severely underleveled with Gohan, but thankfully I bought a lot of healing items. Vegeta knocks out Goku with a cheap shot and goes to confront Majin Buu. He blows himself up trying to take Buu with him, but it doesn't work. Gohan survives and is taken away with the Kais for a bit. Babidi is heading to Capsule Corp to destroy it, but the Dragon Radar is still there, so I need to stall Buu while Trunks gets it. What better way to stall than to go Super Saiyan 3? I've stalled enough, so now Goku can teach Goten and Trunks how to fuse into Gotenks. In the meantime, Hercule goes to meet Buu and gets caught in some crossfire. Buu gets pissed at what just happened, and his anger creates Evil Buu. Evil Buu turns Majin Buu into chocolate and eats him to become Super Buu. Super Buu wants a fight, so he comes to the lookout and we fight him as Gotenks. I beat him, then fight him again outside the chamber. Gohan gets a massive power boost, and now it's his turn to fight Buu. Before I finish the fight, I enter Surge mode by holding down triangle while this meter is full, and beat Buu with a super attack while I'm also transformed. This causes a super finish to happen, and I get a trophy for winning a battle like this. Super Buu absorbs Gotenks and Piccolo, and I have to fight him again. Elder Kai gives his life in the Potara earrings to Goku so he can come back to Earth and stand a chance against Buu. Goku tries to fuse with Gohan, but Super Buu absorbs him first. Guess I have to settle with Vegeta. Goku and Vegeta fuse to make Vegito and fight Buu. Super Buu has 21 million health, my god. I do so much damage as Vegito, so it doesn't feel as much, but still, that's a huge amount. Vegito lets himself get absorbed so he can save everyone inside of Buu. Doing this causes Buu to transform into his final form, Kid Buu. This monster destroys the Earth with no hesitation, and when Goku and Vegeta escape to the land of the Kais, Kid Buu says, "I didn't hear no bell," and teleports there to continue the fight. This is the final boss of the saga. I have to beat Kid Buu 4 times. First with Goku, 2 times as Vegeta, and then 1 more time with Goku. Also, another cool animation happens in the first fight with Goku. Goku chucks the Spirit Bomb at Kid Buu, and after a few cutscenes, I get the trophy for completing the Buu Saga. The main story is now complete, but I have a lot of side content and miscellaneous trophies to do. First thing I'll do is hit up the training grounds. I've done 7 challenges with Goku, and doing 3 more gets me a trophy for completing 10 challenges with any character. After this, I'll start doing some more side missions. This one for Hercule, I absolutely hated. First, I have to play as Gohan, and for me, he's still underleveled compared to other characters, but that isn't the main issue. I have to fight some enemies, and every time I end up high in the clouds and can't see anything. There's no way to fly up and down during a fight in this game, so I was just stuck here since the enemies wouldn't move. A solid 10 minutes was spent just on these enemies because I couldn't even see what was happening. I keep doing side missions until I get a trophy for completing 10 of them. Bulma at Capsule Corp can help me build a few things. I need to build both items and need some materials to do it. Building anything gets me a trophy for building a machine piece. When I come back with the materials needed, I get a trophy for building a vehicle and another trophy for building the robot walker. Like in the first intermission when Chi-Chi made me a full course meal, I need to do that 4 more times, but with different recipes. I went around collecting recipes and had just about every ingredient I needed from playing the game, except for a few that I could just buy from a shop. I went back to Chi-Chi and made every dish I needed, then made 4 different full course meals to get the trophy for making 5 full course meals. Something else I wanted to wait until the end of the game to do was destroying boulders around the map. Each one has a level requirement to destroy it and hide some materials and minerals inside. Destroying any boulder gets me a trophy for destroying my first boulder. I keep destroying boulders around the map and eventually get another trophy for destroying 10 boulders. In Capsule Corp, I can talk to Android 21 to modify the training room by using Zenny and materials. I need to eventually get to level 10. Instead of having to do levels 1 through 9, I can jump straight into level 10 once I unlock it. It's against all 3 boos who are each level 95. I'm only around level 80, but with enough healing items, I should be able to do this. It actually wasn't too bad. I did spam a bunch of spirit bombs and Z combos to deal massive damage. When I beat the last boo and finish this exercise, I get the trophy for completing a level 10 challenge in the training room. Now all that's left for the platinum is to focus on the villainous enemies. There is another trophy for something else, but I'll get that along the way. Villainous enemies are marked by this symbol on the map. There's a little over 30 groups of them, and the first wave is just common enemies. Once I defeat all villainous enemies in an area, then a new wave spawns in with tougher enemies. I defeat all of them and the final wave spawns in. Each area's final enemy will be the main boss from one of the 4 sagas. The Southeast Islands area has a bunch of Frieza saga enemies like the Ginyu Force and all forms of Frieza, leading up to a fight against full power Frieza. The continent center area is filled with Cell saga enemies like all the androids, Cell Juniors, and all forms of Cell. Beating one of the groups here gets me a trophy for defeating 20 villainous parties. This leads up to a fight against Perfect Cell. This fight is lasting a lot longer since I keep targeting the Cell Juniors before Cell, but with each one I beat, Cell pops out another one. I took down 4 Cell Juniors before I noticed what was happening. The Central Plains area has mostly generic enemies, with some Saiyan Saga ones. There isn't much they could have done, to be honest. The only recognizable ones are Raditz, Nappa, and Vegeta. The Great West Desert area has a better assortment with Buu Saga enemies, like all of Babidi's minions, Majin Vegeta, and all forms of Buu. Beating one of the groups here gets me a trophy for defeating 30 villainous parties. After I beat these last enemies, 2 more spawn in the East Ravine area. I check it out, and it's Toa from the Xenoverse games, summoning a villainous Gotenks and Vegito for me to deal with. They are each level 100 with near 20 million health. It took a while to beat them, and when I do, there's one final fight in the Land of the Kais. Before I go there, I'm going to level up a bit to help me. While collecting items for a side mission, King Kai sends me a telepathic message, and I get a trophy for getting a message from him 20 times. Now I'll go to the Land of the Kais and see what awaits me. It's another character from Xenoverse, Mira, and he's my final fight of this game. He's also level 100, but he has 56 million health. I have a ton of healing items, so this fight is more about endurance than anything else. It took 15 minutes to whittle him down. When I finish the fight, I get the trophy for beating Mira, and because that was the last trophy, I also get the platinum.
How could I lose?
According to the guide I used, this game should take around 40 hours of platinum. That seems a little inflated because my PS5 says it took me 27 hours, and I don't feel like I was going particularly fast or anything, although I could have easily sunk a lot more time in. The platinum only required me to play the main story and do a bit of the side content. There's still so many sub-stories to do and other characters to interact with. I can definitely see myself coming back to this game as it has an open world with so much personality that no other Dragon Ball game can match.